Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. India have beaten Australia in their first official warm-up match by 6 runs. This after India were asked to bat first and they put on a total of 186 runs, courtesy 50s from KL Rahul and Surya Kumar Yadav. In reply, Australia were actually quite comfortably chasing that target until Mohammad Shami's last over. That's right, it was in what was a dramatic last over. Mohammad Shami bowled beautifully to restrict Australia to 180. Yes, that's right. Last over heroics by Mohammad Shami, who bowled just one over in this match but made a huge difference. And with that, India winning the match by 6 runs. Ashok Malhotra joins me here. What a turnaround, sir. Mohammad Shami now saying that you could have had all the plans that you wanted, but I've come in and I'm going to just spoil all your plans, because now India will be wondering whether they should play Mohammad Shami in the first match against Pakistan. What a turnaround by him.
See, I don't know, Meha, whether India should be very pleased with the victory, or they should put their thinking cap on. Because till the 18th over, Australia was cruising through. That 19th over from Harshal Patel, where the brilliance of Virat Kohli turned things around. That run out of Tim David turned things around. You know, that run out of David, and then that blinder of a catch of Cummins. Because it was going for a 6. It was a flying. If he would not have stuck his hand out, Virat Kohli. I would say Virat Kohli's brilliance, and then Shami and even the 19th over. 19th over has been where India has been struggling. 19th over by Harshal Patel was phenomenal, to say the least, because not only picked up a wicket of Aaron Finch, he got Tim David run out, and then at the last over, it was phenomenal. It is like Shami was trying to tell the world, tell the media, tell the management, I am here, main hoon na. You know, I belong here, and why you didn't pick me for a year and a half is a mystery, and he wanted it to be solved as quickly as possible.
Now, how much should we read into a warm-up game such as this? Now, I know that when you talk to the players, they say, look, we're just trying to figure out our combination. We're giving players some time in the middle. Australia very clear that they didn't want to put in David Warner. That we know that David Warner is going to start in their playing 11 when they play the first match against New Zealand. Matthew Wade didn't play today. For India as well, I mean, they did go in with their likely playing 11 that will be playing against Pakistan on the 23rd. But, you know, there are things that they keep trying. And keeping that in mind, how much should one take a result like this seriously?
See, it is a win after all. It's, you know, winning is a habit, like losing becomes a habit. So winning is a habit. Because they, first time, after a long time, they say, victory from the jaws of defeat. That is very rarely seen by our bowling department. So they have done it. So that should please the management. But then what they should be thinking, what about the middle overs, where we are conceding 10, 11 and over? Be it Arshdeep Singh, be it Harshal Patel, be it Hardik Pandya, and the form of the captain. You know, how many more innings you need from him? Because he needs to come and fire now. He either play a role of a sheet anchor or play like old or vintage Rohit. So this is this is a little bit cause of worry. And then, will you play Shami? For me, that is the $1 million question. Are you going to play Shami? As Rohit has been saying, we have already informed everybody, whosoever is going to play in the game against Pakistan. If that is the thought process, then Shami probably is not going to be part of the team, and which I would say is criminal, to say the least. Because he is the guy who can bowl in the 20th over. He can bowl in the power play. So I don't know how can you miss him. How can, but as we know about the management, they like to swim against the time. They don't listen to the outside noise. They want to go ahead with their own plans, whether they work or they don't work, but they go ahead with that. And if, according to that, if you have to ask me today whether Shami is going to play on 23rd, I have my doubts about it. He might play the next game, friendly game against New Zealand, but I still have my doubts about him playing the 23rd game.
So here's my next question to you, that if you think Shami should play, then who should be playing? Is it going to be Harshal, who actually bowled a good last over, Bhuvneshwar, who was really more economical than the others, or Arshdeep, who's been so good in the death overs this year? So who then comes out in place of Mohammad Shami?
See, Arshal, one good over. He's bowled one good over. He's bowled two bad overs. 2 overs, he leaked 26 runs.
Correct.
So if the third over would have gone for 10 runs, it would have been 36. So that is the problem with Harshal Patel. He picks up wickets, but he leaks too many runs. That is, can you check those flow of runs? And those runs can turn the tide in favor of the opposition. So he has been not consistent with his line and length, consistent with his bowling, consistent with checking the flow of runs. He does pick up wickets. But runs, what he concedes are too many. So I would, if Shami has to play, Harshal obviously has to go out.
Also, I mean, we've got to just talk about Mohammad Shami, the fact that he's been out of the scheme of things when it comes to Indian team management. They've been very clear, hence he's not been given any opportunities throughout the year. It's only when players got injured, bowlers were injured, Jasprit Bumrah was injured, and you tried everybody else, Deepak Chahar then got injured. That's when you are saying that, okay, fine, we want to get in Mohammad Shami. But how good was he today? He got 1 over, sir. And that's where not just the experience, but the skill set of a bowler comes in. Got 1 over to bowl, and he was nailing those Yorkers. The last 2 wickets and the last 2 deliveries, those were perfect Yorkers for a lower order batsman. And just the way, you know, I mean, one would think that you would err once, at least when you're bowling just 1 over in a match, coming after what has been 1.5 years. You last played in the T20 World Cup last year. This was fantastic from him.
And definitely, it seemed to have, he has been warming up for this 1 over. He might have been warned to, but the way he nailed those Yorkers, you know, not even one ball was in the slot. All of them were 2 foot, where you could not clear the field. Even the hit which Pat Cummins made, it was not a length ball. It was a very close to being a Yorker. He tried to bowl a Yorker and have to bowl the last over, and only 11 runs to defend is not an easy thing. And he defended it how? As you very rightly said, beautiful Yorkers, and he showed the skill set, what he has, why he is head and shoulder above others pretenders, if I may say, compared to Shami. So he once again showed to the management. I hope they look at him with an open mind, not with the shut mind that, oh, we have already told X guy, we have already told Y guy, and we will not include him. Because you have to put the best team on the park. And Shami has to be in that best team. There's no 2 ways about it. He 1 over, although he's bowled, I let him bowl another 4 overs against New Zealand. And then you make your decision. But I think you cannot have an Indian team now in this T20 World Cup without Mohammad Shami.
Also, just before we move on to India's batting, what did you make of the spinners on this wicket, especially Yuzvendra Chahal? You know, he's been given a bit of a break. He was coming back, but you felt like he was bowling, you know, flatter than one expects him to. What was your reading of how Yuzvendra Chahal was bowling?
See, there are two sides of it. One side is Ashwin can bat a bit, you know, can check the flow of runs. But if you have to pick up wickets between 6 and 14 overs, then you have to play Yuzvendra Chahal. And somebody has to. There is a bowling coach, there is a coach, there is everybody to bowl slowly. Your job is to pick up wickets. Even 4 goes or 6 goes, if you pick up a wicket, that is good enough for us. So that is something right. So now they have to make up their mind. Because the Pakis they struggle against leg spin. They're more comfortable against off spin because they sweep the ball well. They loft it over mid wicket magnificently. And when right-handers come, they have got a lot of right-handers. Ashwin is not comfortable because he tries only his leg cut instead of bowling off spinners. So I would go for Yuzvendra Chahal, but maybe the batting, the 6 which Ashwin hit, which made us win the game, it might tilt the balance in his favor. You never know. It is touch and go between the two. There's nothing much to choose. On one side, there is somebody who can pick up in the middle overs. On the other side, who can give you a few runs. at the bottom.
Yeah, and also be economical, because that's something that we've seen Ashwin do every time he takes the field. But interesting choice there for India, but I have a feeling they'll go in with Yuzvendra Chahal. But then again, we could be proved wrong. Let's talk about India's batting then, sir. Finally, we're seeing KL Rahul in form. We're seeing him hit the ball like he normally used to. You know, all that talk around strike rate. Again, today was one of those days where he could have taken some time, but he didn't. You saw him, you know, hit balls from the word go. What do you make of how KL Rahul batted today?
See, one thing I can say, Neha, KL Rahul is definitely listening to the outside noise. You know, there was a lot of noise even when he got 74 that you're a bit slow and you could have played a bit better and all that. So he wanted to prove a point to his critics. He's got a bat in his hand and he did wonderfully well. But then, you know, if he gets going like that, then Rohit should try and stay put, try and hang around, play 20 overs. So they should have a kind of a game plan for each other. If KL Rahul is going to play like that, which he can play when he is in mood, mind you, if he's in mood, he can, tomorrow you might see a different KL Rahul on the park. He's like a Pakistani team. You don't know which Pakistani team will turn in the ground. Turn up in the ground. So that is what I feel a different bit. But somewhere the rules have to be defined. You know, if rules are not defined, then it is very difficult. And for me, as of now, the skipper's role is not defined properly. You know, he doesn't know whether he's going. Even when Rahul was firing on all cylinders, then you stay put. Let him enjoy, like Virat did when Surya was firing. You know, so he started rotating the strike, gave him the strike, and that is how you normally play the team. But Rahul was phenomenal, to say the least, today, and he set the ball rolling. Yeah. But Rohit leaves a lot to be desired.
Okay, let's also talk about Surya Kumar Yadav. Now, I think a lot of India's chances in this World Cup are dependent on how Surya Kumar Yadav plays. We've talked about it coming into the tournament. He's been phenomenal throughout the year in T20 internationals. But what I saw today, and you can correct me, what I saw today was Surya Kumar Yadav trying to adjust to those bigger boundaries in Australia. You know, I know that we spoke about this before the show began, that he is not somebody who relies on brute power, but on, you know, on the pace of the ball. But despite that, he was trying to find gaps, which he normally also does, but he was also adjusting to the facts that some of those shots of his that he tries to play may not clear the boundary. Did you notice that as well?
Yeah, definitely so. But he's a clever player. You know, he's not very muscular, and he doesn't have muscle in his brains. He's got a very clever brain, unlike Sri Lankan batters who seem to have muscles in their brains, who had no clue how they're going about it. But the fact is, he's a clever player. He uses the pace of the ball. He uses the angles of the ground, and that is why he's so dangerous. And then he can play inside out over covers, which is a go for shot. So definitely he's a very clever player. And one more guy who really impressed me today, although he didn't get very many, was Virat Kohli. The way he started going, you know, he seems to have reinvented himself. He knows what his role is after the 10 overs are completed, and he had to go number 3. He already has those plans in his mind, which speaks volumes for Team India's batting. But Surya Kumar Yadav is the man, go-to man for Indian team, especially in the middle order. And he once again he showed. Last game he got a 50. Now he got a 50. He showed without him we can't survive. Yeah. And the fact is, somewhere along the line, I hope the entire country is praying for his form to continue.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also then, Hardik Pandya, a lot will depend on how Hardik Pandya bats and bowls in this tournament. We've seen how balanced this team can get when he's bowling well and he's batting well. You know, the middle overs as well, when he comes in to bowl, whenever the team has done well, we've seen him bowl well in the middle overs. Keeping that in mind, the role for Hardik Pandya from here on in the warm-up, the way you saw him, what are you expecting from him?
I think he's a go-to man. If Surya Kumar Yadav is the one who is going to turn the tide in India's favor. When chips are down, then you will see Hardik Pandya. putting his hand up, be it bowling, be it batting. I know he got out early today. That is one-off game. I'm not too worried about it because he's a good enough bowler. He's your supposedly number 6 bowler, but he will bowl better than the number 5 bowler most of the time. So and in batting, he's going to bat at number 5. He's used to bat at number 7 where it was hit and miss. But now he's the one who can consolidate, who can accelerate, and then if needed be, he can play those big shots, which very few can. I know it's a big boundary, but still, when Hardik Pandya hits, it stays hit. Because after Hardik Pandya, then we have an iffy bat. Believe you me, Dinesh Karthik, we don't know how well he bat at number 6, how well Akshar Patel is bat at number 7, or Ashwin plays how well they bat. They can play small cameos, but the batting really, if we have to keep going, then the top order has to fall to click 1, 2, and 3, and then Surya and Hardik Pandya. It stops there. We should hope and pray the top 5 fire most of the game. Then India has a good chance of winning this World Cup.
Now, were you surprised by that bandage on Rishabh Pant's knee? Because I don't think there's been any, there's been any information from the BCCI, from the team management as to what is going on. He seems to be fit, but yet you saw a big bandage with an ice pack on his knee. Did you see that, sir?
I did, Meha. He might have hit the ball, hit his knee against the ball. In frustration, nothing else. That is all, because he didn't play. He's hardly playing. So I'm sure he didn't hit his knee against the bed or something. Otherwise I didn't see him play any game, and next he never got injured. So if I were Rishabh Pant, I'll be trying to hit my head against the wall. Forget about the knee. I might have a bandage around my head. So definitely, because you are a match winner whose confidence is being shattered by this manager.
Yeah, no, you could see that, because I don't think they have that kind of belief in him. They obviously think Dinesh Karthik can do a much better job. He did score 20 of 14 balls today, Dinesh Karthik, in that specialist role. This is really the litmus test for Dinesh Karthik. For all that we've heard, sir, of course, his, performance in the IPL, we saw that. But in international cricket, they've come, but they've been few and far in between. In many innings, he'll get 1 or 2 good knocks. This is now the time where we'll get to know whether the management's taken the right decision in sticking with Dinesh Karthik. I know you're a big supporter of Rishabh Pant, and you want Rishabh Pant to be in that playing 11. Yes?
It's not me. Whichever cricketer I've spoken to, all of them saying, what has Dinesh Karthik done in 17 years? What new he's going to do in the 18th year? So it is not me. I've spoken to so many cricketers. I'm commentating. They're all cricketers. I'm meeting a lot of cricketers. They all have the same viewpoint, except for the management. They all have the same view. Even the people from his Tamil Nadu, they have the same viewpoint. How can he be playing? But anyway, it is good luck. I hope when end of the T20 World Cup, we are speaking highly about Dinesh Karthik.
Absolutely.
We have leaked our words. I'll be more than happy to do that. Yeah. But till it really happens, I'm still rooting for Rishabh Pant.
Yeah, a point to prove really for Dinesh Karthik as well in this World Cup. Quickly, sir, it's just been 2 days and we've seen 2 upsets in the World Cup. First, Sri Lanka being beaten, the Asian champions who ended up beating India and Pakistan last month, were beaten comprehensively, emphatically by Namibia. And then today what we saw was West Indies going down to Scotland. These make for interesting matches. These are exciting matches, and this is also now showing us, sir, that the gap between associate nations and the other countries, that's becoming less in T20s. I mean, you can now see that on any day, any of these teams can beat some of the bigger nations.
They can, because 2020 is such a format. Because the intensity, you have to keep intensity for 20 overs. The longer game it is, these minnows will struggle. The shorter it is, they can be in dangerous. Like we saw Namibia, they were head and shoulder about Sri Lanka, and same with Scotland. They were head and shoulder about West Indies. I mean, they outclassed. Like Namibia outclassed Sri Lanka yesterday. So Scotland outclassed West Indies today. They had no clue whatsoever. And 160 runs were put on board. Then you knew they were asking for trouble. Like 68 runs was scored by Namibia in the last 5 overs.
Yeah.
Same with Scotland. And they didn't have any bowlers to defend defend in the last 5 overs. So minnows there's nothing much to choose. The shorter the format, more dangerous these minnows will be.
A lot of teams are having death bowling problems. That's what we can see. But
yeah, they started in India.
Today wasn't the case, though. I think they'd be happier. They were on point. They're bowling much better.
But we had Shami, who was not in the scheme of things.
And we were almost losing the match, except if it was in the last over, and Shami turned it around in that dramatic fashion. But Ashok Malhotra, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. And Ashok sir will be there with us throughout the World Cup as we preview, review, analyze all the matches. We get you all the latest from this T20 World Cup down under. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, that's it then. From us, News9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to for all the latest from the world of sports. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.